Hi and welcome. Just going to invite you to take a minute and just tune into your breath. So just inviting you to take a nice slow deep breath in through the nose and exhale softly and completely from the mouth. And just begin to do this for a couple times. Just take a minute, let your eyes close or soften your gaze if you want to keep them open, and you're just inhaling through the nose. Just really drawing in life-giving, healing, soothing, nurturing prana. And as you exhale, just allow any heaviness, tension, stress, fear, anger. Just allow it to release and allow your body to start to really calm and soften. Let your body start to relax and regulate. Allow your emotions to flow and lighten. And allow your mind to calm and clear. And maybe even just silently repeating, I am relaxed. And I am grounded and rooted into the earth. I am safe, stable, steady, and secure in my softness, in my clarity, in my relaxed state. Welcome to March 2026. So that intro is basically the invitation, the theme for this month. We are dealing this month with 3. March represents 3, so we have 3 again. And then we have 4 in 2026. March is a 4 month, and we're dealing still with the 10, which is the global frequency number for the year. Well, until September 22nd. And then we go into the 1. So the invitation for this month is to slow down. This is going to be interesting because we have energies definitely moving quicker and moving forward. There's really new kind of winds blowing through, a lot happening on the collective stage, and there's going to be a continuous, disclosure of things, continuous things unveiling and unraveling. And so that's going to still, be part of our landscape. And that will continue. So this month, we have Mercury retrograde until 2021, depending on where you are. We have the Equinox also happening that same day. And then we have the Eclipse at the beginning of the month as well. We're in eclipse season still. So I actually love this energy because the Mercury retrograde and with the 3 and the 4 is helping us to actually start to integrate and process some of what's been happening. So just kind of depending where we're at in our own process and what we've been kind of dealing with, this month is helping us to process it. But it's also helping us to get clear for ourselves what this means for our own personal process experience and where we want to really go. So it's giving us this grace period. And I love that Mercury ends right when the equinox happens, because that is really the beginning from the seasonal perspective. That's really the beginning of our new year. And so it's like we've been in preparation, and then when equinox happens, this is going to be just a whole new opportunity for us to really be clear to move forward with a trajectory that we're grounded in, that we're steady in, and that we're heart-centered in. So that's the invitation for this month, is learning how to still navigate through these ever-changing and stronger winds that are coming through in the landscape of what's happening and unfolding on the world stage, maybe in our own personal life, and being able to start to really tune in to continuous calming and steadiness. So the 3 is really about nurturing ourselves. So it could be and the body, we have to really be in our body, really grounding and landing. And I love the 3 and 4 together because that's really what they're going to support each other to do. So the 3 is saying still taking care of the body, maybe through nourishment, through nurturing, through relaxation, and being able to have the boundaries needed in order to self-care and self-nurture. That's been a theme that's been going on for a long time. That is not going away. And this month will potentially be emphasized because we need to start to regulate from all the things that have just been unfolding and unveiling on the collective. So even if your own personal life is unchanged or unscathed, we still are all part of this collective one, and we are still going to, on some level, be affected by that. And if the more our lives are not affected in a bigger way, say we've already known what's happening, this isn't new to us, then we get to hold a space. So the more grounded, more steady, more heart-centered, more connected we are, then the more we're able to do that, hold a space of steadiness, hold a space of love and compassion as more and more people awaken. So the 4 is helping us to stabilize, create new rooted, grounded foundations. And that's where we get to review with the Mercury retrograde. We get to review, where am I at? What's resonating with me? How do I want to move forward? It's helping us to have clarity with all the changes in the eclipse energy. It's helping us to have a lot of clarity. So the 4 also represents our thoughts. It represents, being able to take a step back and see things from a different perspective, allowing us to come into a neutral space. So this doesn't mean I'm not caring. It means I can take a step back and I can see things from a different perspective, which helps me to transcend polarity of judgment. And when I can when we can transcend that polarity of judgment, we are transcending the separation consciousness. The old paradigm was based on that. That's what we're rising out of. That's what we're evolving out of. We're evolving out of that polarity, which just strengthens the ego, which creates more fear, and it creates more separation consciousness, which perpetuates, just inequality, injustice, violence, non-caring of all beings, things like that. So this is an opportunity for us to really take this month and really start to steady and stabilize, taking a step back, get neutral, and then we can start to really connect to our heart. A lot of what's being exposed on the planet right now is very, unsettling to say the least. This is the thing, if we can keep this in mind. The whole shadow aspect of what's being revealed in the collective right now comes from the consciousness of disconnection. And so we can never create solutions from the same consciousness the problem originated. So yes, if we have a response, we need to be authentic in our response. If we feel anger, if we feel fear, if we're in shock and traumatized by what's happening, then we absolutely want to honor that and move that energy and process that and take some time to allow ourselves to do that. And then our most powerful foundational point that we can then come into is reconnecting to our heart, reconnecting to our soul self within, and reconnecting to the consciousness of love, so that we can show up from a higher consciousness, and we can then, from that vibration, really start to create the healing and the new changes and creating the new earth that's really needed. So something just to keep in mind, because often our instinct is to fight. Our instinct is to retaliate and respond. And this is going to be our flex. Our flex is going to be able to, or we're invited to, learn how to regulate ourselves in a whole new way, possibly, and be able to keep coming back into, soothing ourselves, and then come back into this steady connection. And from that connection, our source connection, is where we have our grit, where we have our real true inner strength. And that's where we can then come from that consciousness of love, where we can show up with true compassion and care and really start to create, kind of new ways of being on the planet. And that's how we really create this change from what we're seeing has been happening under the surface. And that all needs to come up, because it needs to be cleared out and released and purged, so that we can really anchor in this new earth. And that's what we're moving forward into. So invitation is, we want to keep that in mind too. Yes, it's very ugly right now in a lot of ways, but it's also very beautiful in a lot of ways. And remember, whatever we give energy to grows. So we want to keep giving really energy to what is good in our life, what is good in the world, how is humanity showing up in positive, loving, compassionate ways. As we awaken, we come more and more into our sovereignty, and we start to really come back into taking our power back. That's the power of this month. getting clear on what that means for us, getting stable and strong, rooting down, really grounding in and rooting. And that's where we need to really be in the body. And that's where we really need to ask ourselves, what would it look like for me to create a life that's grounded, that's rooted, that's stable, and that has the highest good for myself, but highest good for all beings. And we're gonna have the access this month to start to have, you know, kind of the awareness, and that's why it's important. The calmer we can get in our physical body, in our nervous system, the more our intuition can come through, the more these positive higher solutions can be downloaded for us, the more steady, strong, and purposeful we'll stay in our own soul's alignment and blueprint moving forward. And we can then have the clarity to act from inspired action. So that's the combo of the 3 and the 4. So 4 is watching our thoughts, you know, and where am I tuned into thought forms? Thought forms are rampant right now, discordant thought forms because of what's happening on the planet. So the 4 is saying being mindful of that and really, you know, kind of taking a step back. We may need a little bit more nurturing time this month as well to stabilize, but also to cleanse our energy field. Is this actually my energy? And you don't have to necessarily like go into the depth of whose is it and what's happening with it. Just really starting to kind of be aware, when am I in my own energy field, in my own heart, in my own center, and starting to discern and recognize when we're not. Power of word is also very powerful this month. So that could be, I'm going to speak into existence what I want to experience. Great time to do this is actually in the shower. It's amplified by water. So it could just be, I am confident and steady. I am fulfilled, loving, compassionate, and safe. You know, whatever it is that we're seeking, really speaking that into existence. And then, you know, continuously throughout the day, can we do that? Can we relax our body, take a minute and connect to our heart, connect to source, call our soul forth, and then really start to, you know, calm our mind. And then with that clarity, with that relaxed state, then affirm through our voice what we want to experience, what we want to actually birth. So 3 is birthing energy. It's this creative energy, and really we need to be relaxed in order to really maximize on that ability to create and manifest what it is that we're seeking into the form. And that's the 4. I love this. That's the 4. 4 is saying, let's bring our ideas into the form. 3 is saying, let's get relaxed, calm, and with our creativity, let's start to birth something new. And then the 4 is saying, yes, let's birth something new. So let's ground it in our foundation. We gotta bring it down. We can have all the ideas we want, but the 4 is saying we gotta anchor it down into our body. That's the rooted foundation so that we can bring our thoughts now into form. So it doesn't mean we're gonna actually see the result of that this month. We're laying the foundation for that this month. So very, very powerful, potent month for that. And then the 10 is saying, let's have the courage to remember who we are and to start to stand into our truth and into our sovereignty. Remember, 10 is connected to the heart, though. It's saying we need to step into leadership from a place of connection with the heart. Remember, that's what we're healing. Obviously, the leadership has not been connected into the heart, and that's what we want to show up for. We want to come from a place of new leadership that is really anchored and connected in the heart. And then the 10 saying, from this place of the 3 creativity and the 4 being able to land it in the body and bring it into form, let's now take it to the next level. And I love that that's where, again, now we have the equinox. Mercury will go direct at the end of the month. Equinox, new beginnings, and we're going to go into the next level. So this month is preparing us. It's helping us to be prepared. It's helping us to get clear. It's helping us to really be intentional, really like asking ourselves, what do we need to do in order to land that in our physical body, in our day-to-day, so that we're grounded and we're steady. And then we can bring our next level. We can bring whatever we're bringing to, you know, kind of we're upping everything, and we're going to show up and we're going to rise into a whole new way. So inviting you to have a really gentle, peaceful, nurturing, and very steady and stabilized month for yourself and for all of us, and wishing you just the best. Take gentle care. Namaste.